Welcome everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Tutorials with ConnLUG. Thanks for joining us. Today's Tuesday tutorial is spaceships. So I don't have a ton to show you, not like last week where I had all the trees and everything, because it's been a busy week. But I do have my UFO, which was featured at Brick Fair, Virginia, and a couple other places. I figured it would be a really cool, simple thing to show you, and it incorporates a lot of neat techniques, and I can show you how that works, and it's also lit up, so that'll be fun. We've got our special guest, Mr. Daniel Zimmerman. He'll be joining us to show us some cool space stuff, space techniques, and I have a giant bin of brick here in case I need to pull in some parts if we have some questions or we want to talk about how to do different things. I can show you in real time. No guarantees, but we'll give it a go. All right. Thanks for everybody who's joining us on Discord. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and we will get back to you. Cool. All right. So my UFO for my space theme uses some neat parts. You can see that it's round. I know, me and my round stuff with Lego. Fun build this was. It was kind of a, hey, I need a flying saucer because I'm going to do a corn maze thing and an abduction, and it looked really cool. Certainly at night, if I were to turn off all the lights, A, you wouldn't be able to see, and B, this would look really cool, but I'll do my best with what we've got. So this doesn't have a ton of pieces visible, but there are lots and lots of little pieces inside it. Obviously, you can't hear them all rattling because they're being used in a really unique way. And the way that those pieces, in this case, 1x1 round studs, translucent studs in light blue, similar to the tile work and plate work that you can see on both sides, is designed for a lighting effect. This whole thing is designed for lighting. So let's start taking it apart, sort of. As you can see, I've got some discs and parabolas in various shapes and sizes holding it together on both sides. On the top, I did this little dome piece with a little pyramid in translucent light blue. I thought that was really cool. I think that's a Nexo part. But the purpose of some of these inner parabolas, that's what those are actually called, according to Lego, is to hold in the lights. So in this model, I've got 3 lights. 2 of these little remote T-lights that take the CR32, 2032 batteries. They're remote controlled. This guy, and you can do like patterns and modes and timing and stuff like that. They're really fun. The batteries do burn out really quickly. So you can get probably like one good show out of them if you were to go to a brick fair or something like that. But these are great for just popping into buildings or popping into builds, and they're a lot of fun. So I've got 2 of those, one on the top, one on the bottom. Actually, I can probably pop the bottom one out. There we go. Just like the top section, the bottom section has those same parabolas, and this smaller parabola is what holds the light in place inside the spaceship. So there's a plate that goes through the center, and this kind of holds that against that. Now, because of the way I designed these, the edge of the parabola is what holds it in. It doesn't actually have any stud contact. It just clips on to the 1x2 plates in the 4 quadrants on top and bottom, and that's what holds it in place from the friction on the very edges of the studs. Okay? So we've got 2 of those. Flip that one over so you can see the underside. And then you'll see that Yoda's in there. I had to put his trousers on that side because he couldn't like sit and stand up, it'd be too tall. But I thought this would be a fun thing for Yoda to fly in. So we'll get him out of there. And then there's not much else inside except for those 1x1 round translucent light blue plates. And then we've got some of those on the top. You can see there's the centerpiece that is tiled on top and just the anti-stud on the bottom there. And on both sides we've got plates, two layers of plates and tiles, and then some of those 1x1 rounds to fill in the gaps. Again, this is entirely designed for the visual aspect, right? So the really cool part about this and the way that it's kind of held together is really only with 4 Technic axles. Anybody that's worked with these large curved sections, these large curved brick sections, knows that they have spots for those axles in like the rear quadrant of them. So there's 4 of those holding this together. Other than that, what I've done is I've taken, for those who can see it, I've taken one of those micro lights on a string, like the super tiny thin wires with the tiny little lights that you see in, commonly see them in like the centerpiece for weddings. They'll fill like just a vase with the little light wires that spiral in them, and you can turn them on. And the things last forever. They're just LEDs. They're tiny little LEDs, but they last forever. So that is woven in between the 2 halves of the spaceship. So when I turn it on, you can see, if I hold it just like that, that the light shines through the center of those studs. So it looks like an actual flying saucer. And all I did to make that happen was just weave the wire in between the studs all the way around and then put the 2 halves together. So without totally destroying it, because this tends to happen, I'm going to try and pull it apart just a bit so that you can see. And maybe what I can do is I can just take one section off, because that would be pretty awesome if I didn't have to dismantle the whole thing. Let's try that. So I'm just going to pop that off of there. Pop that off of there. Remember that that's the front and that's the side. Take these tiles off. So from removing the smaller curved section, you can start to see where the Technic axle is. Okay, and that Technic axle, like I said, there's one in all 4 corners, and it's holding the 2 hemispheres together, top and bottom. I did go with dark gray on the bottom section because I wanted to symbolize like a little bit of shadow. Also, that's what I had, so I thought that would work. Let's pop those out. And then, definitely breaking things. Cool. So there's my Technic axle. Popped into the opening in the middle center of this curve section. And that's what the inside looks like. So lots and lots of little 1x1 round translucent light blue studs popped in there like that. And you can see when I turn it sideways, you can see that the wire is woven in between the sections of the anti-studs, the tubes themselves. So the spaces between the tubes is where I wove the wire in. Cool. And conveniently, if you look straight on, you can see that straight back there's a rectangular gap between the top and the bottom hemispheres. And on this side, the remote, or the little on-off switch that controls all the lights, fits right in between those 2 pieces, which just worked out perfectly. Cool? So it's much of the same. studs tucked into one side, the wire woven in between them, a few 2x6 bricks to hold the individual sections together, some 2x3 slopes, which kind of fill in where the curved sections meet, give it a little bit more of a backbone, and they're just popped together. And when I flip the switch, you can see the lights come on. And the cool effect from that is the light shining through the translucent studs. So we'll reassemble that now. We'll pop this back together. Put that bit back on there, like so. Cool. Put our tiles back. And our translucent light blue plates and tiles. I'm going to reinstall my lights. These are already turned on. I just have to hit them with the remote. And like I said, this just kind of sits on there like so. Of course, if I let it go, it falls through, but it just sits on top of that, the upside of that plate, and that parabola holds it in place, like so. And it actually kind of hangs on. I'm not really holding it from the bottom. So, same thing with this one. Pop it right in the top there. And away we go. And there's my glowing, color-changing spaceship. So yeah, so that's that. And this was a lot of fun. Huge hit at Brick Fair. Very nostalgic. I think for Brick Fair, New Jersey, we had this actually crashed into the corn because the studs that I had used to support it abducting poor ConnLUG minifig didn't quite make it back from the trip, but I thought this kind of dying into the cornfield with the corn guy like running away, a little alien there. I thought that was really cool. So that is my spaceship. I'm going to hand it over to Dan, who's going to talk about his spaceship a little bit and show you some really cool techniques now. So go ahead, Dan, get connected in and let's see what you got.
Well, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Okay, so spaceships. As you can tell, I love science fiction, and here is my spaceship. You might have seen it before. I brought it to a meeting past. So one of the techniques that you guys, Tiffy and Cam wanted me to show was greebling. You can see it on the side of the ship right here. Now, greebling is when you take a bunch of random Lego elements that probably wouldn't look good by itself, but when you put it together in like random fashion, it looks pretty cool. Here's one example on this. And then when ConnLUG got invited to Enfield, Lego Life video building techniques. My example was Greeble. So this is the build I had did. But I taken apart. We had a picture so that we could use for the video when I was taking it apart and putting it back together. Right here, there's like bananas. There's coffee cups, and obviously you would use that for food normally. When you do it like this, you get a pretty cool result. In this case, it's a minifigure. One example is actually a Lego set, the Millennium Falcon, the UCS. So as you can, so if you look, William Falcon said, you actually see on the sides, Lego actually did Greeble. So one problem with Greeble is that it does use up a lot of parts. It's a lot of small parts, so it takes a while to build up. But the end result, I think, is pretty worth it in most cases. So you can use Greebling with not just spaceships, but, really anything you want. So I'm actually going to do a little example right here. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to just do a small example. Using just build something on a 6x6 plate. With Greebling, you can really use any parts that you want. But when I do Greebling, I tend to use a lot of these T parts. I think they're pretty cool. And then I use the hoses, and then these I guess you could say nozzles. Also, another one I use a lot are like the lightsaber bars, and they come in a lot of different lengths. So that comes in handy too. I also use lightsaber hilts too, and extra like clips and stuff. So I'm gonna do like a little small. You can see it's kind of clipping them around in random function, in random order, I guess. Get you some pretty cool results. So as I do this, I'm not really paying attention to how. I am paying attention to how it looks. I'm like thinking on like, oh, where should this one go? Just putting them in what kind of looks like tubing, piping, and all that. If you take your time with a lot more different pieces, you can get better results with this. So you may be wondering why is Greebling with classic or like with spaceships. Well, if you look at a lot of MOCs that people are doing for classic space, um, like if you were to go onto Google or Reddit, you're looking up neo-classic space. There's a lot of Greebling that, like if you look in the background, these giant like space hangars for the spaceship, you see like Greebling like kind of like area on their walls. It's hangars, and it's used to make like piping or like hoses or just kind of like futuristic technical kind of look. Kind of like in Star Wars, you know, if you look at the surface of the Death Star, it looks all like rough and like kind of not smooth like the way. It looks all like clean and kind of like veiny, high tech kind of thing. When you get up close, it's actually kind of messy and like bumpy. And Val, I see you asked, like real hoses or mechanical purposes. Yeah, it's really just for the texture, but it's made to look like it serves a function. Uh, it's really just made to look. Say.
That is a really cool design. Can you tell us a little bit more about like your overall design too? Because that's a really unique shape.
My idea for the spaceship is actually the same parts on Cam's spaceship. Is these rounded flat pieces she used like to get like the shape of her UFO. I had those pieces. They came in a Star Wars set in Clone Wars many years. I think 12 2008, I want to say. So I had seen those, and I always thought like, oh, if you put them together, you can put them on their sides, like a crescent moon, something like that. So I forget what build challenge it was a couple years ago, but ConnLUG had a build challenge to make something fantasy sci-fi. So this is what I ended up making. So I finally got around, like, okay, I want to use those rounded pieces to make like a crescent shape of a spaceship. So it's like a moon. I guess you could call it like the crescent moon spaceship. So I put those on their side. I got the angled slopes here for points, and then I made like an area in the middle where the person can sit. No one in there at the moment. Controls. And I took kind of see them. It's those hinge bricks. Like you put they have the, it's like the 1x2 sides, and they also have like the 2x2 sides. It's like those smooth hinges. I'm not sure exactly what to call them. I put those in here to like fill this area. In the back, you just have like a bunch of engine repulsors. And the sides looks really boring. Once I finish, it's like, oh, I'll just do a bunch of greebling, random parts there. So, and I made sure both sides are completely different. Nothing the same about either of them. So as you can see, I used a lot of those bars, even the one that's like one end just straight and long, and it turns a 90 angle. That's like the shorter end. So really, I use whatever kind of parts you want. I also have like the lightsaber handles on here. Also these, most people call them like the Exoforce hands. They were like the hands to robots on Exoforce sets. So those come in they're pretty useful on here too. Yeah, you can really, and so Greeble can be a lot of different parts. It can be tiles, grills, anything like small and just put together in kind of like random ways. Like you step back and it looks pretty intricate, and you've done Greeble. That's pretty cool.
Awesome job, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so that is our tutorial for the night on spaceships. Obviously a little bit more simple on my side. Danny did a great job with his tutorial on greebling. Awesome work. And we're really happy to continue these segments and to be able to share with you some of the designs that we've come up with. And we hope that it inspires you to come up with some designs of your own. If you have any questions, certainly you can reach out to us in Discord, or if you have ideas or MOCs that you want to show, please be sure to share them with us. All right, awesome. Well, thanks everybody. For those of us who are joining on YouTube, please check out our other videos, like and subscribe. And if you have ideas for other tutorials, feel free to let us know.